Was Atlantis real? While many dismiss it as myth, there's no compelling historical reason to rule out its existence. After all, Troy was once thought to be a legend until Heinrich Schliemann discovered its ruins based on Homer's Iliad. Could Plato's account be another historical record waiting for evidence? Let's dive into what we know and what the latest theories are about Atlantis. Plato introduces Atlantis in his Timaeus and Critias dialogues. According to these accounts, Atlantis was an advanced civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time, placing it around 11,600 years ago, a timeline that aligns perfectly with the Younger Dryas, a period of sudden climate change and rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age. Atlantis was said to lie beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, where Spain and Africa almost touch. Atlantis was described as a continent larger than Libya and Asia combined. But here's where translation matters. In ancient Greek, continent could also mean a large landmass, something similar to the size of modern-day Turkey, or maybe a little larger. Some have also argued that the original Greek word for island in this account could actually mean peninsula. These insights open the door to alternative interpretations on the idea of Atlantis and its location. One intriguing theory places Atlantis in the Azores, a group of islands in the Atlantic Ocean. During the Younger Dryas, sea levels were much lower, and isostatic rebound from melting ice sheets may have caused significant changes to the Earth's crust. It's possible that what is now a chain of islands was once the mountaintops of a larger landmass, or even a small continent. This idea would align with the description of the continent of Atlantis, as Plato details that there were mountains to the north and plains to the south. But let's back up for a minute here. What exactly is isostatic rebound? Simply put, it's the process where land that was previously compressed by massive ice sheets during the Ice Age begins to rise again once the ice melts. Think of it like a seesaw that's put under heavy weight on one side, and that slowly lifts. Once the weight on the other side is heavier, it comes crashing down to that side. In this case, the rebound could have caused underwater land masses to shift, sink, or break apart. This process, combined with rising sea levels, may explain why Atlantis seemingly vanished beneath the waves. Another compelling idea is that Atlantis was not in the middle of the Atlantic, but on the west coast of Africa. If we consider that the term continent and island in the ancient Greek could apply to a large peninsula, regions like Mauritania and the surrounding areas could fit Plato's description. There's some evidence to this idea between distant historical similarities from the Atlantis account claims versus what the West African natives claim as their history, and the mountains to the north that could be referring to the Atlas Mountains near the Strait of Gibraltar, and plains to the south that could be referring to the modern Sahara Desert. Another fascinating clue is the Richat Structure, or the Eye of the Sahara, which has a circular formation resembling Atlantis's layout as described by Plato. While this is far from definitive, it's a tantalizing possibility worth exploring further. Geologists theorize that this structure likely formed naturally, but wouldn't that be a wild coincidence that a natural formation resembled the description Plato uses for the city of Atlantis? Ironically, Poseidon is said to have created the foundations of the city, so natural processes wouldn't automatically rule out the Richat Structure being the lost city of Atlantis. What makes Plato's timeline so compelling is its alignment with the Younger Dryas, a period of abrupt climate change around 11,600 years ago. During this time, rising sea levels, caused by melting ice sheets, would have submerged coastal civilizations and reshaped the continents. If Atlantis existed during this period, it could explain its sudden disappearance, a victim of cataclysmic natural events rather than mythological punishment by the gods. This makes the story less about legend and more about the fragility of ancient civilizations. Now, let's debunk a huge myth surrounding this legend. Atlantis was described by Plato as an advanced civilization, but it's essential to ground this idea in historical context. Advanced doesn't necessarily mean futuristic technology or spaceships. It likely referred to advancements relative to its time. Plato's depiction of Atlantis highlights their capabilities in land and naval warfare, allowing them to dominate much of the known world. This military and political power echoes the conquests of empires like Rome, but thousands of years earlier. The idea of advancement could also include organized agriculture, monumental architecture, and trade networks, rather than technologies far beyond what ancient civilizations could realistically achieve. Atlantis' greatness, as described by Plato, was exceptional, but not out of reach for a powerful Bronze Age society. In the end, the question isn't whether Atlantis was real or fictional, it's whether we've looked in the right places. Much like Troy, the story of Atlantis may be rooted in history, with evidence waiting to be uncovered. The Azores and West Africa are promising leads, but definitive proof is still out there, somewhere beneath the waves or hidden in plain sight. In the end, Atlantis remains one of history's greatest mysteries, part myth, part tantalizing possibility. Plato's descriptions of its advanced civilization, its sudden demise, and its location beyond the Pillars of Hercules all invite us to question what we think we know about ancient history and our place in it. Are you curious to learn more about Atlantis? You won't want to miss our upcoming podcast episodes on the topic, where we'll do a deep dive into Plato's account and continue to unravel the enigma. So, what do you think? Was Atlantis real? If so, where do you think it could be found? Drop your theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay tuned for our upcoming podcast episodes where we'll take you even further into the mysteries of Atlantis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next mythical adventure.